You can start it.
Hey, man.
Whoa.
Someone else is here.
Shoot, dude. How'd you get there?
Hey, this is a special episode of
This
Things I Did
is.
Last Night.
It's the 200th episode.
Our 200th episode. That's a power move.
I planned this as soon as I saw the episode air. I was like, immediately.
That is such a power move.
I hate that so much. We do have a guest today.
Yeah,
Hello.
there's another voice in your ears today. It's not just us.
That was your cue to say something.
Hi,
And
hello.
There's another voice in your ears today.
I mean, I'm supposed to introduce myself, I guess.
No, we'll intro you.
We'll intro you. Abigail.
Do you remember her name? Oh, Abigail.
It's the one person. The one person he remembered. Have we confirmed that this is the sandwich guy?
This is not the sandwich guy. Wait, if you thought this was the sandwich guy the whole time, we were not the sandwich guy. That's a sincere question.
No, I definitely did not get
Okay.
that.
He stole $3 billion in Bitcoin and then he opened a
You're not
sandwich
gonna
restaurant.
Things I learned last night.
Abigail is one of our investors. She was a part of our seed round.
Long time listener, long time investor.
Yeah.
the
She
merch.
blackmailed us into bringing her on
No.
the podcast.
Yeah.
I knew the most about you of everyone in the Patreon Discord.
That's actually
That's
true.
true.
Yeah.
I won the March Madness.
She goes,
and
I fought my way here.
See.
Is what she says.
It's almost
yeah.
November.
Yeah, we're just
But we're
making
just-
good.
Hey,
We're glad to be
we're
here.
making good on a promise we made 4 years ago. I'm saying that, you won the trivia thing because
I did.
You're
and I was very proud of myself because the only ones I got wrong were like YouTube algorithm questions. And I was like, I don't know which video did better.
What questions did you put in there?
Yeah, they were pretty
But like the
technical
ones about your
questions.
guys'
Why
friendship,
did you do that?
the ones about like how long you'd known each other and all of that. I got all of those right.
Nice.
You put
Yeah.
in which video
Yeah,
has more views?
I wanted to make it hard.
I think there were like 2 or 3 of those, and those are the only ones I got wrong.
I
Wow.
was trying to make it challenging.
Because so for anybody who's new, what we did was we did TILLN Madness, which was March Madness. We did best episodes. We did brackets, and then you and who did you have to face off against?
Lydia.
I
Lydia.
don't-
That's
why
right.
I made it
Is
so
that
hard. Because
somebody's cousin?
Lydia is married to a dude I grew up with.
Oh, see?
And so I was like,
yeah.
that's an unfair advantage. So I had to
See,
make it
she
hard.
got some of the questions wrong about you guys.
It's true.
Yeah.
And
It's
true.
just guessed some of the,
She's a
or
fake
I don't
fan.
know. She knew the YouTube.
Fake friend.
I don't know. But I will say,
She's not real.
it was a good thing that like the March Madness thing reset.
Yeah.
Because we were another round in, and I think some of the guesses, if we had gone with the original bracket, I may not have won.
That's
Wow.
true. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good thing we
Because
messed that up.
I don't remember who won, but I think because Timothy Dexter is still like my favorite episode.
It's a
'cause
good
it was
one.
the live show.
Yeah.
a
It's
good
a
one.
good one.
And so
You
I
don't
may
like it
have,
because we mentioned you in it. You snort
no,
laugh
I
and
want
we-
you to know that was my roommate. She was the one snort laughing.
Oh, you
Oh,
just took the
really?
blame
Out.
for it.
You took
Yeah.
the
You
fall.
took the fall.
I mean,
What
I
a
ended up
friend.
snort laughing after that
Oh, okay,
because
good.
it was so
Good.
funny.
If we got
But-
you after.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
I just, no, because I tell people that all the time. I'm like, the guy he just picked randomly. He was like, oh, let's put cats on a ship. And they ended up having a giant rat problem. Like and then he made a statue of himself. And
I love that guy.
Lots of
Faked
I
his
statues.
love
death.
that guy.
That was a good episode.
Yeah, that was. And speaking of good episodes, we got a good one here today. This is our 200th episode celebration. It's a bonanza. Our phones are live. Feel free to call in at any time.
Yeah, we're giving money to the Children's Medical Hospital if you want to dial in and give us a donation. We'll be up all night. It's a telethon event. So
yeah.
I didn't sign up
But
for that.
this episode doesn't come out for
for a couple weeks, so we got to keep going until it comes out.
Until the phone calls come
I don't know
in.
if you knew that was the plan.
No.
Yeah, you
All
can't
right.
leave.
Hey, we're not catering, so me and Tim have underneath this table
At least
have
there's 3 of us and we
bags
can
of
sleep
survival
in
food.
shifts.
What's that?
I said at least there's 3 of us. We can sleep in shifts.
Yeah, that's true.
That's actually a really good idea. Yeah, well, let's
You
get
go
started.
first.
Alex can't sleep though. Anyways, have either of you ever heard of Jimmy Zhong?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
the sandwich place.
please say that again though.
Jimmy Zhong.
Okay, Jimmy Zhong.
Jimmy Zhong.
Jimmy Zhong.
He's pronouncing it French.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the sandwich place. It's
Is
the
it?
Yeah. They do
They
Freaky Fast.
offer free
freaky
smells.
fast, free smells, old
Well,
bread.
it's a side effect of it being so fast, like because they're on the move.
Jimmy Zhong.
Jimmy Zhong.
Oh, that's stupid. I like it. Who's Jimmy Zhong?
Jimmy Zhong is a significant person. He recently was arrested for one of the highest value Bitcoin heists ever. Heisted, yeah.
How do you heist?
It's like a digital wallet, and you steal out of the digital wallet.
Yeah,
instead
but
of it
how did you
being
do? Like, how is that a heist though?
Well, you go
codes.
into
It's still stealing, even
Yeah.
though Bitcoin doesn't exist.
yeah, you go into a bank and you wear a clown mask, and you say, "Everybody, get on the ground," and then you say, "Who here has Bitcoins?"
I'm thinking like you got to like find somebody who's got a Bitcoin wallet, hold them at gunpoint, and say, "Give me your password." Like that's
Yeah.
got to be.
They can't be hacked. I mean,
they can't. Is that a heist or is that a hack?
oh, that's
I
fair.
mean, it's
Ah,
the same
see?
thing.
That's
A
fair.
hack and a heist.
But I
are-
don't know. I feel like if you're threatening somebody to give you all your money, isn't that
Entrapment.
no?
It's theft either way. Theft is the term. Yeah,
True, but I
hack
mean-
and heist sounds like a cool bar.
I think what makes a theft a heist is a plan. Like it's
Okay.
a well thought out plan. Which in retrospect, I don't know if this guy had that. So this might have just been a theft. But
he's
it's a
in
$3
jail,
billion-
so he
maybe it's the
didn't-
value that makes it a heist. Because $3 billion, a lot of
That's
dollars.
pretty high.
That's like
Yeah.
8 Bitcoin.
I hate you for that. Okay, let's tell the story. Here's
Sure.
Jimmy Zhong. Jimmy Zhong grew up in Massachusetts, I believe. That's not
Not confirmed.
part of the story. Where he's from isn't super important. Here, let's check
Okay.
Wikipedia real quick.
Nah, don't worry about it. Keep going.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, so grew up in Massachusetts. Was kind of a. Have you ever thought about? Never mind. Yeah, he was just kind of a.
I want to know if I've thought about that thing.
Oh yeah, I have.
No, have you just ever thought about like? I saw this online the other day, and I've been thinking about it a lot lately.
The Roman Empire.
Close. How well, like, if you were a time traveler, you time traveled back to say the 80s, you got the neighborhood bully, and sent him to high school today. Do you think they'd be a successful bully today? Like, could they bully today?
Wait.
Could an 80s bully today?
Wait. You're saying
You're asking if the insults would translate to
You're
modern
saying-
I'm not
culture.
so much asking
you
if
go
they
get
translate.
the bully.
Yeah.
You travel time with them.
Say, okay, so
And
things
then
are
put them in a
different.
school. And what do you tell? You go, hey, you're gonna bully here.
Let's see you bully. How
And they
good of
go
a
around
bully-
leather jacket and they're just like freaking shoving people in lockers. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Hey, nerd.
And you want to know if that was still no, because the bullies are more submersive now.
Yeah, I was.
They don't call you a nerd. They call you a fascist. They don't. Call, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not like.
That's what I'm saying.
Is
like,
that fair?
I mean,
I don't think I think Gen Z is borderline impervious to bullies. Cyber bullies, no.
Well, because if someone's like,
like
hey
80s
nerd,
bullies?
someone will go, whoa, you need to check your insecurities. Like
Exactly.
they're
Yeah,
worse than the
exactly.
bully is.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They go, wow, that's really.
well, then would the
Such
bully
an
just
Aries
turn
move.
into a Gen Zer? They would just adapt that.
How adaptable do we think bullies are, though? Because I feel like 80s bullies are the same person today.
Yeah.
I just started watching Stranger Things for the first time, and
Wow.
yeah, that was like a wake up call to how bad the '80s were, and then I was like, oh, that generation of kids had
Yeah,
to
because they were just
flip.
allowed to ride on bikes and fight monsters, and their
curse
parents were just at home doing nothing. They're like,
Yeah.
of course those
I'm
kids
not
turned
talking
out.
about the I've only seen one episode, so don't
Oh, yeah.
spoil anything. But I'm
Okay.
talking about like
don't
the-
spoil it.
the-
It's been out
the-
for almost a decade. What do you mean? Don't spoil
the smoking
anything. Do you know how
and the
Titanic ends?
cursing.
I don't want
I've
to
never
ruin
seen
it.
Titanic.
I don't want. Well,
Whoa.
do you know how it ends?
I
It's
do.
a surprise.
You're in for a twist, okay? Because like I thought I was watching a cute little cruise story. And then the unsinkable happens.
The unsinkable. Oh gosh. Have you seen the Gen Z video of Titanic where everybody gets upset that the old lady from the movie wasn't a real person on the Titanic?
Yeah,
They're
it's
like,
good.
what is this? I thought this was real. So
And this is what I'm saying. Maybe that bully would do well because like
He has a lot of ammo.
there's a lot of stuff to bully the kids for. But you're
then he
saying would
wouldn't understand.
people react this? See,
I think what you said is be like, well, check your security. Like,
Yeah,
I feel
whoa,
like they would
man.
respond with something too
Worse.
intellectual for them. Yeah. I don't know. I think kids are
then
just different.
would it
today.
turn to violence after that?
Yeah, he
That's a
could
good
probably still
question.
beat him up. Though.
Right. Because
Yeah,
that's
he
still
probably.
bullying.
Yeah, he's probably still tougher than him.
Why?
Anyway.
Why were you thinking about this?
Oh, sometimes I just think about bullies.
When I'm burying these bees in my backyard, I
Got
want
bees to bury.
got bees to bury, baby.
No, okay. So Jimmy, the reason I brought that up is Jimmy was bullied as a kid.
Okay.
Didn't have a lot of friends. Was kind of a bit of a loner, and also had like kind of a negative family life. Like wasn't.
Well, I guess like if that bully shows up at the school and says something like, you're a nerd, and someone will go, hey man, the 80s called. They want your insults back. He's like, did they call? Can I go back?
Can I go back? Please let me go back.
Like, how do I
gotta go back.
Do you know how to get back?
Call my mom.
That would suck to be time traveled. And then, because you didn't time, that's what I was saying, to be time traveled and then thrown back into a high school. Oh, I'd be more
Well,
mad at
he's still in high school at the time that you
Yeah, he is a
take
high
him out of
schooler.
time, right?
Oh,
So-
okay.
It's
Yeah,
just a different high school.
Yeah, in a different time.
I think
Right.
bullies still exist. Yeah, we should
Because
do like
what?
a.
Isn't that Back to the Future? Doesn't Biff at some point go to a different time and he is still a bully?
That's true.
Yeah, he's just old.
Maybe we can Mortal Kombat some bullies. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
one
who had the
per-
tougher bullies?
Anyway.
The 80s or the 20s?
So he's
2010s,
bullied a lot growing
2020s?
up by a time traveled bully.
Yeah, he's getting bullied by this time traveler. And it was so bad that his parents got a divorce.
Dude, can you believe what he did to that kid last week? He put him in a trash can, he stuffed him in a locker, and then he made his parents get divorced. When he sit down with his mom, he goes, Sandra, are you really sure that you made the right decision? You're planting seeds of doubt? What do you mean his parents got divorced because of how bad he was bullied? Or were the parents like, dude, our kid's such a wuss, dude. He's crying every day.
Yeah, I can't
take this.
I can't see you anymore. I can't
This
stand to
is-
look at you.
this is your fault.
He's such a wuss, and I hate you for it.
I feel bad for this kid already.
Yeah, so the parents got divorced for different reasons. I think it might have been the bully. I don't know. We don't have any documentation on that, so it's not the bully.
Okay.
We don't know he wasn't a time traveler. We can't prove that.
We can't prove any of this.
Okay.
So he had a negative upbringing, and but he was a kid who, like a lot of kids who were bullied. This is the 90s. I keep saying 80s because I feel like 80s bullies are like prolific. Like
Yeah.
that was the high era of bullies.
Yeah. 90s bullies took it to a whole new level, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Do you know where I was going with that? Where were
I
you
don't
going
know.
with that?
I don't know where you were going with
All
that.
right.
Do you know
all
where I
right.
was going with
Nah,
that?
I think so.
90s bullies were the worst. So he was bullied in the 90s. And like a lot of kids who got bullied, he threw himself into his computer and started learning a lot about coding and
Sure.
all this different stuff. Taught himself a bunch of different languages.
Kids that are
We-
bullied now end up listening to weird podcasts.
That's true.
Welcome.
As a kid of the 90s. Have we confirmed that this is the sandwich guy?
This is not the sandwich guy. Wait, if you thought this was the sandwich guy the whole time, it's not the sandwich guy. Is that a sincere question?
No, I definitely did not get
Okay.
that.
He stole $3 billion in Bitcoin and then he opened a
You're not
sandwich
gonna believe
restaurant.
this, dude.
I forgot about that.
The big Italian is actually named after his high school bully. Oh yeah, that big
No, I
Italian.
forgot we talked about the Bitcoin heist part. I've had decaf coffee today. I have had zero caffeine.
no.
My brain is
no.
That's
sleeping.
we come to this caffeinated.
Jimmy John was bullied though.
He was, yeah. You don't do that without getting bullied.
Sandwiching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you about Fred DeLuca from Subway, man.
Bullied. Yeah, we're never gonna have a good
At
sandwich
least he was when
restaurant
I
again.
worked there.
In the 90s.
I'm a sandwich artist bullying the
Bullying
CEO.
the CEO of Subway.
I call him every day and I go, hey, listen, I just made up this new sandwich.
Good morning, sandwich boy.
Hey, bread boy. All right.
I just got done prepping all these meats. You're such a loser.
I called your mom last night.
She says she's leaving.
She's leaving.
Oh no.
I love the idea of a bully who's going that far.
Dude, that's like crazy.
We gotta tear this family apart.
Oh, dude. Like, bro, just shoving a locker. Leave my parents out of
Please
this.
just give me a swirly. Please. Please give me a swirly instead.
All right, you see what Tim's thinking. You see why we're here, right?
Yes.
All right.
So Jimmy.
You want to finish that? You can have the rest of it.
No.
I would never come between Tim and his caffeine.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes.
He started coding.
Yeah, so he started coding, and he got a scholarship, and he thought that was going to change his life to Georgia.
Okay.
He thought that was going to change his.
From Massachusetts down to Georgia.
Yeah, and he thought that was going to change his relationship with his parents. He thought they were going to
After the
finally be
divorce.
proud of him for once.
Sure.
They weren't. And
What year is this now?
I
98?
believe like 2008.
Oh, pretty later.
Yeah. And so he goes to college, Athens, Georgia. What university is there? Georgia State
It is the Bulldogs.
University
right?
of Georgia. Yeah, it's the Bulldogs.
so-
But are they Georgia State or University?
That's just Georgia
They're
University.
just the Georgia Bulldogs.
University of Georgia. The Dogs. It's the Dogs.
University of Georgia.
Yeah.
So he goes there and he studies computer science.
Okay.
And while he's there, this thing is happening in the internet called Bitcoin. But it's very early Bitcoin. It's like 2008.
Right.
And so he gets into it. He starts mining and he's like, oh, this is neat. And so he actually contributes some of the code to really early Bitcoin because it was open source at the time. And so he contributed a little bit of code to that. Technically speaking, was one of the founders of Bitcoin because of that. But not really.
How many founders of Bitcoin are there? If that's like how the level of entry.
Well, I don't think it was, maybe founder is too strong of a term, but it technically helped create Bitcoin.
Founding, contributing member.
Founding, contributing, donor, fan.
That's what you
Of
were to
Bitcoin.
this show if you started listening so early.
Yeah,
Yeah, when did you
that's
start?
true.
2017.
Or 18, just
Or
right at the
18.
When
beginning.
did we start?
2017.
What's the first episode you listened
Halloween.
to?
I started in order.
You started in order?
Halloween is the first episode.
We used to tell people to do that. We don't do that anymore.
Yeah, we
Wow.
don't tell people to do that anymore.
tell-
We
listen to
tell
any
them
of the
to
old
listen to the
stuff.
good episodes.
Yeah, we say listen
We
to
say
where we
skip.
got good at audio.
Skip a bunch of it.
Which is
Yeah.
still also after we hired Alex too. It took him some time to get good at this.
There's a review.
You realize if he leaves, then you know nothing. You have to start over.
I know that's true.
Yeah.
You gonna bully him?
No.
We bully him.
bully his
regularly.
parents?
No. You better watch your family, bro.
Your parents' marriage is on
I'm
the
gonna
line.
change your Christmas cards forever.
No, but we have a review. There's a review out there where someone recently, in like the last year or so, said something about our Springfield, Missouri episode, and they were like, "Can you guys like stop laughing directly into the mics?"
Oh.
And it's like, I mean, we do eventually in like 2 years. So like, this
Yeah,
is
we
something
get there.
newer.
Yeah. We get. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
You should just go reply to that now and be like, okay, cool.
we did it.
Hey, by the way, we're good. I wish we
got
could
there.
reply to reviews.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we could.
Man, whatever.
Create your own.
Oh, are you
review.
trying to tee up a thing right now?
IoT got. Abigail brought some reviews.
Why do you say her name like that?
like what?
Abigail.
He does say it weird.
Yeah, I
How
know.
do you say
I knew it.
How do you say it?
He speaks like a normal person.
Abigail.
Abigail.
How do you say it?
Abigail. I go by Abby mostly, but
Really? We've always called you Abigail. Why do we do that?
that's my name in the Discord.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. So should we call you Abby?
It doesn't matter.
All right, Abby.
Abby. Okay.
That's not my name.
She brought us some reviews to
Yeah,
read on
read
the
some of these
show
reviews
for
about our
200th
show.
episode.
Yeah, I brought them
I'm
myself.
so. You know what? Here's what I hate about comments and reviews. And this we talked about it in an earlier episode. Tim's was like, "Yeah, dude, I just let this stuff brush off me." And I'm like, "Yeah, because the mean stuff is about me, dude. I don't say mean stuff about you." No, not a single review is like
That's
that.
what the
idiot.
Discord is for.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
they
we
say some mean things about me in the
and I
Discord.
make them pay to do it.
That's why
For
we do.
$5 a
That's why
month,
we
you
do.
can make fun of Tim.
me. Yeah.
Yep.
All
I'll
you
see
want.
it.
It's worth it. All right.
His parents are rock solid, though. There's nothing that's going to tear them apart. All right, read these reviews.
All right, 5 stars. Hello. Name is Caleb. I'm 13 years old, and I love this show so much. So funny all the time. I have heard every single episode, and they're all so good. Used the wrong there. I heard about this podcast from my friend Kale and said we would love a shout out
Oh, hey.
Hey.
from Caleb the Axolotl.
Caleb the Axolotl.
and your friend Kale.
I don't know. That's spelled weird.
Is Kale-
Cael.
Is Kale your friend or is that just you without the B?
That's exactly
What?
No.
Caleb.
It's, the E is
Kale.
before the L, not after the L.
Kale.
So.
Kale.
Anyway.
Well, shout out to both of you or one of you. I don't know. How
You
many
can
of
fight
you-
over
I'm saying
Get
Kale
the
didn't
shout
leave a
out.
review.
Yeah, come on, Kale.
I mean, if he's 13, maybe he doesn't have maybe his computer access.
He's got a
monitor.
computer.
He's got a computer.
He can access a computer.
Shout out
5
to you,
stars. Annoying. They are kind of annoying, but I like them. From
That was
I
cool.
need my sleep again.
At least we got.
That was like a roller
At
coaster.
least we got 5 stars.
5
I
stars.
mean-
Annoying.
I mean, okay, as a long-time listener, I know what I'm getting into when I watch
As
an
a long time
episode.
listener, first time sitter, how is today
I
going
have the
for
podium.
you?
I'm on the high ground
Okay.
today. No,
That's
you
great.
guys get off top. That's why we spent the first 5 minutes of the episode. I forgot that he told us that it was a computer.
You thought it was
heist.
Jimmy John's.
I forgot how we got from sandwiches.
All right, give us another one.
5 stars.
Oh, nice.
Impressing future in-laws. Best part of my Tuesday is listening to these guys. It's the perfect blend of laughing at stupid jokes and feeling a little bit smarter after an episode. My future brother-in-law loves niche history, and thanks to this podcast, I knew exactly what the Great Emu War was when it came up in conversation. I'm not saying this podcast is the reason my in-laws accepted me, but I'm saying there's a chance. Tim and Jaron, you guys want beef or chicken at my wedding?
Chicken.
Mowgli Ray.
Heck yeah, dude. Neither, actually. I'm on a kind of a specific diet. I'd love salmon and wild rice.
You come to the wedding. And you make them make a
Hi,
special.
excuse me. This is not going to work for me. Yeah. Actually, I'm a time traveler. I'm a huge bully of your future kid. And I'm here to stop this right now.
I come back into the future to be like, hey, guess what? Your parents never married, loser.
Yeah. And the kid's like, because he doesn't exist. He like,
He's like fading away.
disintegrates. Yeah. I'm
Pulls a
bullied.
Marty McFly.
Gotcha, bro.
Yeah. That's a new swirly. All right. What do we got?
3 stars.
All right,
Wish
hold
they
on. Let me
would-
stop you right there. All right,
No, I
3
wanna- I wanna
stars.
hear it.
3 stars. Here's the thing. I don't like the 3-star reviews because they usually have a genuine critique.
This is the longest one yet.
Well, here's the thing. 5-star is like, we like them.
Well,
1 star is like, I freaking hate them.
Wait till you hear the critique. Wish they would decrease the amount of laughing.
Stop. Why'd you do that right away?
I can't do it. He's incapable. This is when you take his drink away from him.
All right, let's hear the rest of it.
Just clench your jaw like this.
Why are you clenching your jaw like that?
Great hosts and concept. I really enjoyed the info they had and think the hosts are some of the funniest.
Thank you.
When trying to listen, the laughing literally overwhelms and is so close to the microphones. I ended the episode I listened to with a headache.
Good.
Unfortunately, they didn't stay close to the topic and just annoyed me. I only listened to the Springfield, Missouri episode, to be honest, and I'm not sure when I will attempt another listening session.
I hope it's not this one.
I am keeping my fingers crossed that the hosts are slightly further from mics and not laughing more than talking in my next listen. Honestly, I might time laughter versus talking.
I think timing. If someone wants to time
No,
the
we didn't,
length of our laughs versus the length of actual
geez.
conversation, I would love to see those statistics.
Daniel did make a
Yeah, TILLN Botillion. TILLN Botillion.
but only the
It's
information
on topic
something
versus
point.
off topic.
Yeah. So he takes out all the banter and all
like-
the
it's like
all
8
the
minutes
fun
long.
stuff,
Yeah,
and just does the serious
it's
stuff.
so short.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
We got more reviews.
A few more.
Yeah,
wow.
there's a
3
bitter one I
stars.
like.
Laugh track or bust. Really wanted to like it.
So what is it?
I would love
Less
to have
laughs,
a laugh track.
more laughs?
I would love this show with a laugh track.
I know, but how do they still give you 3 stars? Well, they were like, I
come on.
wanted to like it.
Yeah, it's fine.
1 star. Terrible. The commentary is silly and the research is superficial. If you are an academic and like to research, I doubt you would enjoy this useless. I doubt you would enjoy this unless you like frat boy reflections.
Frat boy.
Yeah, you and me, the 2 frattiest guys I know.
If you're an academic.
That means conspiracy theorists. 100%. The person who wrote that listened to one Alien episode and was like,
Yeah.
this is clearly not for us.
Their name is
Superior
Kimber
minded.
Dancer.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yep.
Where do you think
Alright.
they're from?
1 more star.
I'm going to find
It
them.
says U.S. So
Okay, I'm gonna find
that
them.
narrows it down a little bit.
Fine.
Another 1 star?
Yep. Hey, dummies. Do some research. You're sounded like idiots on the Frank Abagnale. He didn't spell it right. Show.
think it's
Basically,
Abigail.
everything he's done has been proven false. A simple Google search would show that. Isn't that the
Well,
whole point of it? Did he not finish the episode?
simple- finish
no,
the
clearly not,
episode.
yeah. A simple couple more minutes would have got you there.
See, I wish they would
I love
explain
that
that
one.
on the movie, though. There's no. You
Oh,
think
yeah,
that
that
they
was
would.
movie
pretty
makes you
annoying.
think
In
it's real.
retrospect,
Yeah.
at the end, they would say, these things are alleged, and the only person who said he's done these is him.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that until I listened to the
That was
episode.
a great twist.
Yeah, it was.
I think I did a good job storytelling that episode.
Sure. Sure.
It was that, and then
Well, it's kind of like at the end of Titanic. I wish they would have said, hey, that lady's not real, by the way.
Hey, the boat didn't sink.
Yeah.
We made the whole thing up.
We made it up, but still go to the museum.
So he graduates college and he starts a sandwich restaurant.
Stop.
No, so he got into Bitcoin in the early years of Bitcoin.
Right.
a
And
founder.
did some mining, did some coding for it. But it was kind of like at that time, Bitcoin was useless. Like it was actually useless.
Worth 30
It was-
cents.
When we
Yeah,
say
you
useless,
know.
like 0.00001 cents, or what's the...
It was as valuable as like money in RuneScape or Club Penguin. Like
Okay.
it was
well,
not.
Let's look at
It
the
was
real...
like a Stanley
Well, I was
nickel.
gonna say, hold on. Let's
a-
look at the
like a
exchange
Shroot buck.
rate, though. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
$60 to 1 million coins in RuneScape right now. I looked it up literally 2 days ago.
so
and
cool.
well, whatever. And so, like... Yeah, I mean, I hope my high school bully hears
I was going to
this.
say, I'm coming out to your parents.
My
better
parents,
watch out.
My parents are fine.
Who are you trying to
didn't work.
convince?
You didn't pull it off.
So yeah, there's got to be like a real. What is that? 60 cents to a million. That's like
Yeah, I mean, it was. I guess technically you could trade it in for some money, but it was pretty
It's made up.
not valuable at the time.
It's still made up. It's just worth more to people.
I mean, the
money's
same is true
made
with
up.
real money.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just.
But at
We
least
all
there's,
just-
a physical.
Well, that's what I think about. Like I thought about like in I don't want to even give a specific country, but in like
Another
third world
country.
countries where like they're literally like $200,000
yeah,
is nothing.
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Just reset it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like just chop off the
it's
zero,
our fault.
right?
It's our fault
$2. Yeah.
because we made ourselves the global exchange currency. So now everything has to be able to exchange
In
with the US
relation
dollar.
to the dollar. But
And
we're not even-
And we say, oh, we'll only give you $1 for
We're not even on the
200,000 of
gold
those.
standard anymore, right?
No,
So even
yeah.
the dollars are just.
It's all imaginary.
It's all made
and
up.
because we're at the top,
Oh,
and we
don't
have
go
the
too
most,
far down there. You'll have a panic attack.
Well, no,
Yeah,
I mean,
you'll
because I
freak the
work.
heck out.
I work
Ew.
in the finance world.
Where do you
Oh.
work?
I do accounting.
Yeah, what's the address?
I work from home. You already have my address.
What are your like account names, passwords?
1,
What's
2,
your
3, 4,
what's your
5.
pet's
No, it's
name?
B33F.
Beef.
C3.
Roast beef.
R $, $0, all that. Those are all
good.
my passwords.
Your password is
You're writing
beef.
that down.
So
How'd you know? Oh gosh, now I
is
gotta
now.
change them.
dude.
One.
Yeah, I just bought that domain name.
No, but like if you look at a stock though, like, you know, Apple stock, there's a real company that exists that the company's doing well, this is worth
Yeah.
a bunch.
Yeah.
Whereas Bitcoin is just like, this
There's
group of people
this
has
much of
decided
it.
to believe in it. So it's
Sure.
worth
Absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely
collectively,
speculative. Yeah.
they decide its value arbitrarily.
I mean, arbitrarily. Is that what
Tim's
the
a Bitcoin
opposite of
believer is the
arbitrarily
problem.
is?
I mean,
I'm
that
not a
does not
Bitcoin
surprise me. How much do you own Bitcoin?
Technically, yes. I don't know where it is though.
it's under my mattress.
You need to hop on the Mog coin train. Right now it's worth 0.000.
Did you say mom coin?
Mog emoji.
Mog?
Like half man, half dog. I'm a Mog.
Oh, interesting.
It's a Spaceballs reference for the educated.
Oh, okay. Yes, I've heard of this. Not
No,
the coin, not
shut
the coin,
up.
but Spaceballs.
His name is Barf. Half
Yeah,
man, half
yep,
dog.
yep,
I'm
yep.
my own best friend.
So Jimmy John's, he bought a lot of Bitcoin, or didn't buy. He mined a lot of Bitcoin. Kind of forgot about it for a little bit. Went on with college,
Okay.
and had a better experience in college than he had in high school. Because college is a little different than high school. You don't have bullies,
And
really.
your parents are
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
bullies
like
can't
mostly-
afford to go.
Yeah, you're mostly adults now, and so everyone's. You might not get along with everybody, but you're not getting shoved in lockers, or people are forcing your parents to divorce.
I was going to say, they're already divorced.
Yeah, your parents
Yeah.
are already divorced. You can't. Yeah, so he's having a better experience in college, but marginally better experience.
Okay.
He's still kind of lonely, but he's not being bullied, so it's better.
Still no friends, not being bullied.
Yeah.
Okay.
Towards the end of his college career, though, Bitcoin starts to go on the rise, and he's like, "Oh, where is my Bitcoin?" And so he starts trying to track that down. He can't track it down, so he says instead of
Trying to find mine.
trying to find,
It's going to take somebody else's.
well, he starts mining again. He's still early enough where a year later it kind of popped off. And then next thing he knows, he had mined a significant chunk of Bitcoin that was now worth $70,000.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, this will make me popular. And so
Okay.
Oh God, having money or having Bitcoin? Because those are
money.
Two
So
different things.
this
Okay.
is legitimately earned Bitcoin that he's mining. And so he sets up a rig that's capable of mining a lot of Bitcoin. This is early Bitcoin. There's not a lot of competition for this. And so he's able to get a lot of Bitcoin from his mining efforts. And so he's starting to actually develop a pretty serious income from mining Bitcoin. And so he starts throwing big parties and paying for everything. And people are coming and hanging out with him because he's the money guy. Those people who are just like,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
like me because I'm rich,
Yeah, I have a hot tub.
Your inflatable.
No, I was
your
like
inflatable
rocking
hot
with you. I
tub?
was like, yeah. That's how I got all my friends.
That's my life.
That
All
you
my
got
friends
on
hang out
sale.
with me because of my hot tub.
Yeah, I got a hot mommy waiting at home because of my money.
Because the money.
I'm gonna call her that tonight. Hey, hot mommy.
She's gonna think you're calling her some combination of mom and Harambe. She will not
Harambe.
understand.
Yikes. And so
Okay.
and so he's just kind of living this cycle where he's earning a lot of Bitcoin and then blowing it all on these huge parties.
For sure.
And he's living the life. Like when I say parties, he is renting limos and paying for everybody's drinks and going to the bar and buying drinks
He's
for
buying
everybody
out
in the
entire
bar.
local high school theater productions
Yeah, Shrek the musical.
for him and all his friends.
And so he turns into a bit of a party aminal. And he develops a bit of an alcohol problem. Here's a photo from this series, from these years of him
Jimmy
hanging out at a club
John's.
with alcohol. And his life quickly turns from him being a lonely guy to the kind of guy who has a lot of friends that he's paying to have.
Yeah.
And eventually his group
Why'd you show that picture?
just gets larger and larger and larger of all these people who
Hanging out with him to do all the fun stuff that he
do the
pays
fun
for.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the time he graduates college, he's literally chartering private jets and flying all of his friends out to LA.
How much Bitcoin
Giving
is
them
he mining?
$10,000 budgets to go on Rodeo Drive and buy whatever they want. And so like he is like living a high life party lifestyle, paying for a bunch of friendships basically.
Okay.
And during this season of his life, he gets into a lot of party paraphernalia or drugs. Drugs is probably a better term for that.
Yeah, just call them drugs.
And so one of his favorites was cocaine. And so he starts doing a lot of cocaine. And one night he was at a Jimmy John's. I think he literally was at a Jimmy John's.
Everything is connected. I feel better about myself now.
And
Okay.
he's talking to this group of girls, telling them, hey, I have $30,000 worth of cocaine at my place if you guys want to come over. The table behind him is an off-duty police officer.
Nice.
So he texts his buddy who's on duty.
He's like,
and
hey,
want to come hang
I'm
out?
going to try to hang out with this guy real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they show up, and lo and behold, he did have some on his possession, so he catches a felony for that. Doesn't go to jail, but he does catch a felony. So he graduates college, and he continues living this lifestyle.
Sure.
He buys a pretty modest home, like what's described as a bungalow. So it's like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, like 1-story house. Does buy himself a nice BMW. And he lives there for a couple of years and throwing huge parties, living the life,
Yeah, a
going out
2-bedroom,
to bars.
2-bath.
Yeah.
Huge parties.
Yeah.
All right.
They don't have to party
Well,
at
he's-
the house.
Yeah, he's not. He's
They're
flying
flying
people.
to,
yeah.
you know,
Private jets going to Vegas, going to
Cuba
New
or
York, paying for everybody at the
Cancun.
bar.
going to New
Cuba,
York and then
Cancun.
what is it? You go to Vegas and then you fly into time so you can do New
Oh, for
Year's twice.
the New
yeah.
Year's? Yeah.
And he does this for years.
Why'd you do
and
that?
it works out really. I think it's just the caffeine.
Yeah.
He
Too much.
literally just went, Okay.
I'm just trying to. My
It's the
eyeballs were
cocaine.
slipping. I was trying to
You said he was a Bitcoin guy.
just straighten
right?
him up a
That's
little
just-
bit.
We know what he's spending it on.
So he does this for years. He actually gets into kind of brokerage almost. So people who want to invest in Bitcoin, he goes and buys the Bitcoin on behalf of them and then moves it for them. And so he becomes like a Bitcoin investor. And he makes millions doing this legitimately.
Is he paying his taxes?
Yes, he's doing everything by the book. He's doing this legitimately,
Except for the cocaine.
There is some of that stuff that's illegal. but other than the illegal stuff, everything
He's doing
is
everything by the
legal.
book except for the things he's not doing by the book.
Sure.
You got that right. And so
Oh, like you haven't broken a few laws.
Oh,
Yeah, let's
every
be
time
real.
people are like, let's do a get to know you.
Yeah.
You know, has anybody ever done anything illegal? I immediately raise my hand and they look at me and I go, jaywalking. And they're like,
Oh,
oh,
that's
but it's
pretty
true.
brutal.
I jaywalk all the time.
Did you get arrested for it?
No.
That
I had a roommate in college who went to school in like New Jersey and the campus like police officers would hide in bushes and give kids tickets.
shut up.
Yeah,
For
they got
jaywalking.
better
Hide
to
in
do.
bushes.
Yeah.
That's not a cop.
In like a freaking like ghillie
Hides
suit.
in bushes.
Like it's like the campus police, whoever it was.
Yeah.
Besides,
That
this is
was-
New Jersey.
You know how
That
many
was-
college campuses I have parking tickets
Delaware.
on? Like, I'm not going to pay that.
Yeah,
like,
you
what are
ain't
gonna
never
do?
getting this.
Yeah, oh, you arrest me? Oh, great.
I'll go to
One of my
school
favorite
jail.
things when I was working at a church was the icebreakers where you would do these you would do
That's
like
what they're called.
you're all in the circle and you do like the never have I ever things.
Oh, yeah?
But you get like, you know what I'm talking about? That game where there's like one less chair. So the person in the middle has to be like, I've never eaten at Chipotle. And then
Yeah.
anybody who hasn't eaten at Chipotle has to stand up and go find another chair. And there's
Yeah.
one person left. My favorite was one guy in the middle who goes, I've been arrested. And we look around, and
Nobody
then
else stood
one
up.
girl stands up. And then they have to switch seats. And
Nice.
now she's in the middle. And we were like,
Wanna
and it's the
explain
person
that?
you would not have expected.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
no, I
great.
feel
And
that.
you go, do you want to explain or do you want to just keep playing the game?
That's why when they ask
Yeah.
if you ever done anything illegal, I always raise my hand because then people are like, "No, you no."
Nah,
And
what
I'm
she
like,
did
"I
was though,
jaywalk
she killed
all the
somebody.
time."
I was kidding. Allegedly though. Allegedly.
I mean, she's not in jail anymore, so
Yeah.
Yeah, she
You see
got
that
out.
video of that girl who's driving drunk and like killed 2 people?
yes, and
But
was
then
just
is like,
I'm going to school the next
hospital.
day.
Yeah, she's like, I gotta be at school in the morning. Where's my car?
Yeah.
And they're like, you're not going to school tomorrow. And she's like, I gotta go to school tomorrow.
Class. I'm gonna fail.
Yikes.
Did not
She goes, oh my gosh,
understand.
I have an unpaid jaywalking ticket on campus. I gotta go get it taken
pay
care
that
of.
ticket.
Wasn't she in like high school? Not even
Yikes.
college.
Yeah,
like
she was
high
ridiculous.
school.
Jeez.
Real weird video. Anyway,
So he lives
he's
this
doing
lifestyle
stuff
for years.
legitimately.
For years, he's doing things legitimately. He meets a guy in Memphis, Tennessee, who wants to get into real estate development. Has an
Okay.
idea for like a multi story apartment building in
Okay.
downtown, like a big apartment complex. And so he agrees to fund that venture for the student
in Memphis.
And they're both young guys. They're like
Big
24.
popular city of Memphis.
Yeah, they're both like 24. Jimmy is like, yeah, 32 million. I'll give you 32 million for this. And so they start working on this project, and it takes years for it to kind of get off the ground. And finally, when he's 28, like they're making the moves and actually pulling it off. And so he's going and working on starting to actually pull some of the funds from the Bitcoin to do this, because he has a lot of money in Bitcoin at this point from his mining and trading and stuff like that. But he's living off of a lot less than what he has.
Sure.
Which is still a lot.
Right.
Estimates say he probably had earned somewhere in like 70 million worth of Bitcoin legitimately during these years. But he only was pulling out a couple $100,000 at a time to go party and be a crazy kid. He's 28 in 2019, I believe. He was out on one of these benders, gone for like a week doing the party thing. Comes home to realize his house was broken into. And so he calls 911 and he's like, hey, my house was robbed. I've been gone for like a week. And they're like, okay, what was stolen? And he said, they didn't steal anything except for a briefcase in my house. And they're like, okay, where was the briefcase? And he said it was in the vents.
Nice.
And they were
That's where
like-
I had my briefcases.
And they're like, that's interesting. What was in the briefcase? And he was like, a USB drive with some personal information and $400,000 cash. And they were
Nice.
like, interesting. We should call the FBI.
Yeah. That's why you buy a 2-bedroom, 2-bath bungalow, so people don't know you're rich. And
Yeah, exactly.
Crawl into your vents, and
So
well, but I mean, if someone steals a briefcase from the vents, like
They knew he
it
lived
was
there.
there.
yeah.
That's like opening a storage unit and taking a bunch of snack cakes. Like, that's premeditated.
You knew
true.
what was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he kind of freaks out after this, and he's like, well, I can't stay here anymore. So he pulls out some extra cash from his Bitcoin wallet and buys like a multi-million-dollar house on Lake Lanier.
oh,
And he dies there. He's out on a boat and it sinks in the middle of the night.
Oh, he dies on
They
Lake
broke in
Lanier?
half.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, broken in half. And then he floated on the side, like there was a piece of wood
Oh yeah.
that he drifted
there was
on.
enough room for 2 people, but
yeah, and it was freezing cold. He froze to death on
wow.
that. Yeah. He could have swam to shore. It was like 13
what
feet.
actually happened, Tim? Quit doing the bit.
No, yeah. So
Coin.
he did move into a really big house on Lake Lanier, got this crazy security system built, and actually over the next couple of years was like a resource for the police. Whenever there was crimes, they would call him and he'd be like, yeah.
And he'd be like,
let me think really hard.
yeah, I think this person did it.
Check the vents.
I'm
What do you
pretty
mean?
sure
He became a resource for them.
Just
when there
he
was
would
crime
give them
happening, he
money?
would go, yeah, I got a feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll pay for that.
Yeah, that's close.
Okay.
No, he just had a really good security system on his property.
So,
And so they would use his cameras to catch criminals in the area, I guess. I don't know how
how
many criminals
good were the
there
cameras?
were
Are there
in
like
the area.
where he,
drones
like-
in the whole city?
I
Part of the
mean,
lake did he
he
live
spent
in?
a lot
how close
of money.
are people? How close are crimes being committed to his mansion?
These are legitimate questions that I don't have a legitimate answer to.
Okay.
But all I know is him and the police developed a pretty close relationship. Meanwhile, the IRS is investigating him, and he doesn't know this. Because whenever he called the police, it was like, I'm missing $400,000. The IRS is like, why do you have $400,000 cash?
Yeah.
Because this guy is technically speaking unemployed, but he's making a lot of money. And so they're like, this is interesting. What's going on here?
Just getting unemployment. Collecting that $400 a month.
I mean, he's probably filed as an investor is probably how he's filed his taxes.
Yep.
But they're like, this is an interesting thing to just have $400,000 in a briefcase in your vents.
Sure.
So they're investigating him, and he has no idea. The local police hits a dead end on his case, and so he hires a private investigator to try to track down the person who stole the money from him. So he's working with this private investigator and the local sheriff a little bit. And eventually, the private investigator is like, we should talk to the FBI. And so then the FBI gets involved and he continues talking with the FBI. And they're kind of in this back and forth working together for months and months trying to track down who stole his $400,000 and USB with personal information on it. Personal information.
Yeah, his codes for his Bitcoin wallets.
And it's interesting seeing... I watched an interview with this private investigator, and she was like, well, they never caught the guy who stole the briefcase.
Okay.
They assume it's someone that he knew.
Right.
And they are fairly confident that everybody he knew was just using him for their money.
Right.
Sure.
And the parties and all this stuff.
Right,
'Cause,
right.
he was buying them stuff all the time. you
Yeah.
know? And so they're like, it could have been literally anybody he knew. 'Cause
Sure.
nobody he had was a real friend.
Right.
And so they never tracked that down. But then the IRS calls the FBI and it's like, hey, can we come see what's going on there? And they're
Can we
like,
come meet this guy?
yeah, pretty much. And so
Hey, do you
IRS
think
makes
if we
a
get down
house
there,
call?
will he sign something for me?
Oh,
we're
God.
just really impressed with them. And so the IRS,
Shows
up,
up. And they're like,
and
we
the
love your
FBI
sandwich shop.
this investigator, the FBI investigator, takes the two IRS agents and shows up at his door one day and is like, hey, we're looking into your case still. We're trying to track them down. I got two investigators from Washington out here with me, and we want to take a closer look.
I didn't tell him it was the IRS.
Yeah, he's like, can we take a look around? Like, we just want to come and ask you a few more questions and see some stuff
Investigate.
to help us with our investigation. And so they sit down in the living room and they kind of just, chop it up with him for like a half an hour or so. And so they ask him how he made all his money. They're complimenting his house and all this stuff. And then finally, like, they gained some good rapport
Entrapment.
with him. And they were like, hey, can you give us a tour of the house? And so I gave him a full tour of his house, told him all about...
He's like, okay, and you don't even need to move. You can just
Yeah.
literally just see it all from just turning around. Be like, the bedroom's over here. The second one's right here. There's the bathroom.
He's in a mansion now.
He's in a,
remember?
like,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Never mind. I forgot.
Yeah, we talked about so much stuff.
Well, you still don't have to move, though. He's got those little, like,
The camera.
hoverboard things that you just stand on, and it moves you around the house.
He's got one of those like big closet pantries that he converted into his
Yeah.
camera room that
He's
you
got
can
one
see
of
the
those
entire
robot butler
lake from.
ladies who's like,
Yeah.
hello. Everything is above board
No,
here.
those they're
and,
called-
He's like,
Those are
hello, Jimmy
rombies.
calls me mom.
What'd you say?
Those are rombies.
Rombies. Gosh, it was right there.
Right there.
That's funny. I was going to make that joke in a few seconds.
Yeah, you were. Weren't you?
She just beat me to it.
It sucks, doesn't it?
Jeez.
And so
No, because they're vacuum.
It wasn't that funny. It wasn't funny.
Rombies,
okay.
Roombas. It was right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just keep going.
You're enjoying it and you're enjoying TILLN, you've been around for a little bit, I want to invite you to be a part of our Patreon. We have a Patreon that has early access to all of our episodes, ad-free content, both audio and video. We have a Discord with our hosts and producers. That's a ton of fun, getting to hang out with all of our patrons in there. We also do, once a month now, we do these live streams with our patrons. We hang out, we get to know each other, we eat pizza. It's a blast, along with a bunch of other benefits like merch discounts, message on your birthday, like fun stuff. It's definitely worth it. We're having a blast with our patrons. But if that doesn't sound like something for you, then get the heck out of here. Just kidding. No, we love you. Thanks for checking out TILLN Podcast. How do they get it though? I realized I forgot to put a CTA in mine.
Oh,
While
dang.
you were doing that.
Gummit.
Yeah.
They can text TILLN to 66866.
Thanks, Jared. I just want you to rest on that for a
Okay.
moment. I just want you to.
Tim
soak
is
that
enjoying
in.
Jaren being humbled.
So he gives them a full tour.
I don't
of
know
the
if I'd
house.
say humble. Okay, I don't know if that's what I would say is going on here. I don't think we would go that far.
Okay. My apologies.
So he gives them a full tour of the house, and he shows them his
The
security
vents.
room, shows them all the information about all his security system.
They're like, we don't care about any of this.
Yeah.
Well, they want to go to the two. They went because the vent was the old place.
The vent was at the old place.
Then he moved. To
Okay.
the new
Yeah.
place. Well, now
Which
there's
is-
bigger and better vents, right?
which probably should have teed them off that they're not looking into this case, but it didn't.
Okay.
And so he's guiding them around the house, and then finally they get into like a server room, and they're like, "What's this?" He's like, "Oh, this is my mining rig." And then they're like, "Oh, can we see it?" And he's like, "Sure." And so he opens up a laptop, and he's like, "Hold on." He's like, you guys can't look at my passcode.
Yeah.
And so he's got to
And
memorize.
he's over here going R0ASTB33F.
He says it out loud.
He can't type. He's just
Yep.
The one finger type. And so he types in his password, and then he turns the computer around to show that he's got like
$1 billion in
a lot of
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
yeah.
And they're like, that's interesting. And so they, wearing body cams,
Yep.
now have enough information to say he's got a secret server room in his house that has a lot of Bitcoin on it. But you're saying
Is
he was doing
that
this all legally. Though. I thought he was
illegal,
paying his
though?
taxes.
I mean,
Were you lying earlier?
no, I wasn't lying, but I have buried the lead.
because like,
And so there's a flamethrower on the wall in his house.
Wait. Why did you say it like that? I've buried the lead. So there's a flamethrower on the wall of his house.
was he personal friends with Elon Musk?
Maybe.
Seems like a
I don't know how else you get a flamethrower.
They saw on
I've
that
got
screen.
one. I don't know him.
on the wall of your house.
I don't have it displayed.
Okay.
I'm not
showy.
gaudy.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is it in your bin?
I got a
Yeah.
wife. She won't let me put that up on the wall.
No, yeah, I hid mine in my dryer.
Do you not use your dryer?
No, yeah, I prefer my clothes wet.
Where do you hide money in your house? This is a real question.
He doesn't have any money.
Where do you hide the cash in your house?
I don't. You use cash?
Do you put it in
When's
the
last
freezer?
time you used cash?
We use cash when we save for like we're going to Cancun in
very
December.
nice.
Oh, I have separate accounts for that.
With with this really, we're not really paying for it. It's one of our friends who's like
Nice.
super rich.
Yeah.
But no, we use cash. We just pull cash out because we won't want to spend it. We want to put it somewhere and
Yeah.
hide it somewhere.
Yeah, I just have a separate account for stuff like that.
We only actually have 3 cats. One of them is just where we put all our money.
Yeah.
It's the 4th one. He's just a fake little. I go. We just open his smile and go.
Roll up
Eat this. Yeah, I don't know if it's the best system, but it works for us. You
Yeah,
know?
it works out pretty good.
Yeah.
It's kind of messy when we have to collect.
Dave
but
Ramsey way.
Is it?
That's what Dave says.
Hide your money in a fake cat.
Well, he says you want to put your money, if you're saving, you want to put it somewhere where it's difficult to get it
Oh
back.
yeah. Well, I mean,
That's
if
pretty
you want to
difficult.
make real cat, you just
That's some cat.
that seems more difficult.
That's
to
some
me
cat
than
flow right there. So anyway,
So yeah, so they have evidence on their body cams that he's got millions of dollars in a Bitcoin account on the body cams. They also have evidence that he has a flamethrower on the wall, a really pretty intense security system, and a couple other rifles.
what are
hanging
they
on the wall.
worried that
Where-
like if they did a raid
did
on his
the
house?
FBI not
They're-
have all that information already?
They had a hunch about him, but they've had
Okay.
enough. They now have enough information
But
where
he
they can
invited the FBI guy into his home and showed him the flamethrower on his
Flamethrower?
flamethrower.
Wow, how's it feel to be humbled? So
I
anyway,
wouldn't know.
the
well,
idea
what I'm saying is like
they're-
if they're gonna raid his house, what are they like? He's got a flamethrower. Like we have tanks. Who cares?
they
Like,
You're welcome.
just bomb it. Just bomb his house. they have a hunch about him, but they don't have enough evidence for them to be able to get a warrant.
But like, I don't understand why if he knew that the FBI hadn't arrested him yet, why he would invite him into his house and be like, "Here's my flamethrower."
because he
on
thinks
a
they're
wall."
helping try to find that $400,000.
I guess
yeah,
that
that's what he
doesn't.
thinks is happening.
Does he not know how the law works?
No.
Clearly
I
not.
guess.
I think he does, but I think he thinks he's
Above
in the clear.
It. All right. We're buddies now.
I don't know if I would say above.
But
I think
just-
he thinks he's fine. I think he doesn't realize
Well,
that there's
if
something.
you ever invite
he
the
could-
FBI into your home, hide your flamethrower.
I think he doesn't think there's anything he's
Done
done
wrong.
wrong. Yeah, I think he doesn't.
The
know he's in
FBI
trouble.
stops at my house
At
once
what
a week.
point did the SEC regulate all of the
Sean's
stuff
man.
about holding, Bitcoin and having a bunch of money that, you weren't?
It was. I think it was after this.
Yeah.
But like, what's
even
wrong
still.
with this?
Right,
What's
that's
that?
the-
Tell us the
What's
So
lead.
the
Yeah,
FBI, the FBI had a hunch on him.
He stole
They did all this.
he stole the wallet.
No,
His own
No.
his own briefcase of $400,000. He stole his own.
The reason they were doing this is to get a warrant. So they got the warrant. They were able to then come. And what they did, this is really interesting. They came back a couple weeks later with a warrant. A bunch of cops hid around the corner,
Right.
like around the block, not
Yeah.
around the corner, but around the block. And that FBI agent came and was like, "Hey, I just need to grab a little bit more data from you for our investigation. He's like, sure. And so he's like, he lets him in. They sign into the computer.
Tases
and
him,
then-
handcuffs him. He's like, we got you.
We got you, loser. No, a little bit more finesse than that. What he
Okay.
did instead was he said he got him to log in. Once he logged in the computer, he was like, hey, he's like, view looks great out your balcony right now. Can we go take a look at that real quick?
Hold on, it's not the FBI.
And so he tells him,
It's not the FBI.
it's
It's a fake agent.
Oh, yeah.
And they go in and
steal all of it because he's
It's
logged
not
in.
the real FBI. It's not
No.
the IRS. It's just this is a heist.
They
So he
got him
tells
to
him-
steal the briefcase.
Hey, this is a
and
good story,
move.
Tim. Look at you.
He tells him-
Yeah.
He tells him, hey, let's go look outside. And so he's like,
Let's
cool.
go look
And so
outside.
he turns
him,
and starts walking out towards the balcony.
And
And as he
doesn't
turns, the guy reaches in his pocket and slides a USB into the computer. And what it was is it's what's called a wiggler.
Never. Yeah, keeps
the
your mouse
wiggles.
moving. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that the computer, by the time all the guys around the corner, around the block, got there, the computer wouldn't have turned off the screensaver,
Yeah.
and so they still had access to all of his stuff because otherwise.
Yeah, this sounds like
'Cause
you
it
know
was-
what this is
it
about.
was-
What's up with that?
Okay, let me tell you, I'm not one of those people that listens to true crime podcasts.
You
but
do listen to one true prime one, though.
That's true. Yeah. Jaren's
What a
light
true
is my
crime
light. Hold on.
podcast.
There you go.
I gotta hold up the
I'll
merch.
hold up to the other side.
Yep. Yeah.
You can
Jaren's
buy
light
this at
is my
TILLN
light.
or shop.tilln.com or
Yep.
tilln.com/shop.
Or /merch.
Or store dot
PaulRuddTheActor.com.
I forgot about that. I read a lot, and so it makes sense that if it's out in the open with a search warrant, they have access to it. So
Yeah.
I don't know the wiggling
Oh,
rules.
it's
That
out in
seems
the
like
open, so they're not having to touch the
right.
computer.
But
Yeah.
he
But
put
no,
the
you're not
wiggler
understanding.
in.
They're not real cops.
No, I know that.
Yeah,
So
so
it
you put the
doesn't- they don't-
wiggler in so the computer won't lock.
Either way,
it also
they
starts
need
playing
access to the computer.
fruit salad.
Like the game or the song.
A song. He plugs it in, and Jimmy's like, "Do you hear fruit salad by the Wiggles?" He's like, "No, I don't hear anything." It's a weird side effect that they put into the program that really like hurts the sleuth ability of it. But whatever. It's a side effect. So they go out on the balcony. And they sit down on the balcony and they're looking out at the view. And he's like, "Man, this is a great view."
This is
And
a
Jimmy's
long
like-
con.
Jimmy's like, "Yeah, it is, isn't it?" And he's like, "Jimmy, I got to tell you something." And Jimmy's
Get
like,
it,
"What?"
you're being robbed.
Yeah.
And he says, Jimmy, he says, "You're under arrest." And he says, we've been not looking into the robbery that was committed against you. We've actually been looking into the robbery
But
that
what-
you committed. And Jimmy turns around and looks inside, and there's
People.
like 50
Yeah.
cops in his living room going into
Well,
into
50
the
dudes
house.
in cop
Okay.
costumes.
And so
Are they real cops?
so they take him to jail.
Not real cops.
And
Oh, they're real cops.
Fake
yeah,
jail.
they take him to jail. They're real cops. That's an interesting idea, but it's not the truth.
Maybe
Should-
it was
should
the
we do-
IRS guys.
So they took him.
Should we do that?
I mean,
Should we do that to
Should
somebody?
we give that a try?
people are good. Okay,
Should we
No.
do that with somebody?
you guys
try this?
don't look like cops.
I think we. Well, first of all,
hold on.
I absolutely look like a cop. Okay, I absolutely
Okay.
look like a
Hey,
police
that
officer.
guy's a cop.
No, multiple times, like people have
mistake him for a
said,
cop.
like that guy's an undercover cop.
Except for the fact that you're, a comedian. Is that your cover? That you're a comedian?
That's the truth.
Yeah.
All comics
Right, but
are
I'm saying
cops.
like no, like I'm saying like Uber passengers
Yeah.
have thought I was an undercover cop.
Interesting.
When we were on Hollywood Boulevard, one of the street performers like grabbed one of the other street performers and pointed straight at me and went,
Do you have
"That
great-
guy's a cop."
Do you have great posture?
I do have great
Yeah,
posture.
that's
I have
probably what it is.
impeccable
all
posture.
cops have
Just
such
for-
good posture. That's a copster.
I stand like this all the time.
Yeah, that's a policeman way to stand.
It's the belt that
They
you
got
wear.
the thumbs in
Yeah,
the
thumbs
in the vest.
In the vest, yeah. The FBI
Showed up and they were like, "Fiddle off, dude."
Namely, the IRS has been investigating this case
'Kay.
since 2013. They arrested a guy named Ross Ulbricht.
Oh wow, they were following him for a minute.
Yeah. So, well, not him. So in 2013, October 1st, 2013, they arrested a guy named Ross Ulbricht who went by the username Dread Pirate Roberts.
Nice.
He founded a little dark web site, a website on the dark web called
a little one.
the Silk Road. And the Silk Road was a ubiquitous dark website for years where...
That's like setting yourself up to fail. The Silk Rug.
Silk Road?
As soon as somebody arrested him,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, the rug pulled out from beneath you, isn't it?" Like that's just.
Silk
I don't
Rug
know
or
why
Silk
you
Road?
would.
Silk Road. Silk Road.
Oh,
Silk Road.
okay,
Yeah.
that's different.
But as soon as he got arrested, they were like, "Huh, you chose that road." You know, it works.
Yeah, it still works. It still works.
You still got to have a good like detective line
Yeah.
when you get somebody.
But that's
Yeah,
why
that
would
is
you?
true.
Why, you
That's
got to
part of
think
the
about
interview
that when
process.
you create, like, you're creating a dark website. You're not. You don't have
Sorry, I
to.
only use light mode.
You don't have to. You can take the time to think about it before you name it something like the Silk Road.
I mean, the Silk Road's kind of a cool name for it.
I
though,
mean,
too.
that's just stealing the actual Silk Road.
Silk
from
Road
history.
was eBay for illegal stuff.
Nice.
And so it was drugs and hackerware and
Kidneys.
guns and just anything stolen and illegal was on the site. And it was all done with Bitcoin.
Oh,
And
nice.
what you would do,
You think that lady posted my hats on there?
probably.
the one that stole your box? Yeah,
No,
probably.
the FBI seized the site after they arrested him.
Oh wow.
And now they operate it.
Nice. Entrapment.
That is
We
entrapment.
got some stolen stuff.
That's entrapment. They also missed the opportunity to call it Steel Bay.
Yeah, check out our pop-up shop. And so they the way they did it was kind of clever because Bitcoin, every time a transaction happens through Bitcoin, it goes into the blockchain and you can track
Sure.
everything that
Right.
happened. Well, what they did is they did a thing called mixing. So every time money went through this site, it mixed everybody's money together. And so it was like, here's a whole bunch of transactions. And it was still technically traceable, but it was such a jumbled mess that it would be nearly impossible to track where each of those individual
Portions
coins
of those
came
went.
from.
That makes
And
sense.
so they mixed it all up. It was money laundering,
Yeah.
but digitally.
Digital
and then-
laundry.
Yeah. Just like Neopets. They had clothes, right?
Tell the story, Tim. Tell the story.
And so our friend Jimmy, when he was in college and developed that cocaine habit, he was like, hey, this would be a great place to get cocaine.
Yeah,
And so he started purchasing cocaine
on Steel Bay.
on Silk Road, Steel Bay, on Silk Road. And so he's buying this cocaine. He doesn't do it for long because he realizes that his local dealer had better stuff. What he could order online.
But that was his downfall.
Well,
Cocaine.
one day, the way it worked is you would deposit all your funds in, you'd make your purchase, and then you'd withdraw whatever leftover funds that you had. And so you kind of left them on your account just to make the purchase, then you pull them out. Well, they'd get mixed in, and then you'd
Right.
pull them out, and then it was theoretically untraceable. One day, he's on that site, and he goes withdraw, and he just kind of like flinches or something, and
Yeah.
double clicks, and realizes that it double withdraw. So he got
Ooh, twice as much money
twice
as he
as
was
much money
supposed
back. And he was like, that's
Interesting.
interesting. And so he tries it. He makes a deposit and he double clicks again and it works. And so he's like,
to. Wow.
I know how that goes.
and so he sits down and he starts doing
The
some
old
investigation.
double click.
And so
That's not. This isn't a heist. This is an accident. This is the Wiggle 2.0. Wow. If only it were that easy. Oh, well.
I figured this out with Coke rewards too. Was that I would type in the thing, and if you double click redeem, you get
Redeemed
double the
twice.
Coke rewards. We bought an RV that way.
Nice.
so he invests, or I shouldn't say invests. He invests some time to figure out
clicking.
how much Bitcoin is actually in the Silk Road, because it can only pull
So
what's
much at a
there.
time,
Like it
right.
has the money has to exist for him to be able to pull it. He figures out there's about $50,000 in Bitcoin in that site, and so he makes a deposit, and then he just
Clicks
a whole bunch up to where he withdraws the entire site's worth of Bitcoin.
Okay.
And then he's like, sweet, I got a bunch of Bitcoin. Well, Ross Ulbricht finds out about this.
And it's like, hey,
Let me steal
Yeah.
a briefcase. Let
And
me check out your fence.
Here's the thing. It mixed everything up. And so it still got mixed. It was still hard to trace. But
Right.
Ross was able, because
Find out.
obviously he's like, all
To
my money's
withdraw.
gone on my site.
Right.
He was able to follow all of those chains and realize they all went back to a common place.
Yeah.
And was like,
Because it's the same wallet address. When
Yeah.
he should have been smarter about that.
and so he tracked this guy down and he reached out to him and was like, hey,
Let's be friends.
he was like, hey, thanks for finding that vulnerability on my site. Could you tell me like how you did that? And he told him.
He's
and
like, I double clicked.
He told him how he did it, and he actually sent Jimmy an extra 5,000 Bitcoin for exposing this vulnerability.
Wow, thanks for
it.
stealing from me, man. Here's $5,000.
And so
We need better criminals today.
So he takes that.
What?
He takes that money, that Bitcoin.
Did he like
goes
give him
and
the
tries to do
code
it
about
again.
it?
Well, no, he says. I mean, it got patched.
Okay.
So that wasn't an actual vulnerability anymore. But he's got a lot of Bitcoin, 50,000 Bitcoin, and so he says, "Well, this is worth a lot, and it looks like this is going to keep going up." And so he does the one thing he never did, and he says, "I'm going to save this. I'm going to hold on to this. I'm not going to party with this." Because he's got a lot of legitimate Bitcoin he can party with. And so he takes the whole motherboard out of that computer, wraps it in a towel,
Oh boy.
and puts it in one of those Christmas popcorn containers.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Where do you hide your money?
Yeah.
And he hid it.
I'll tell you where we hide our money.
Yeah, where is it?
Nah, he hesitated.
It's in his cat. It's in the fourth cat.
Yeah, he did already tell us about that.
The fourth cat. And so he hides that away.
Why do you think Lenny's so fat?
That makes sense. It's all coming together now.
He's a pillow pet. You open it up. You open up the stuff.
That's where he's been hiding it ever since. His dad didn't patent it right away. He just hid his money in there and then
And
lost out.
so he let
I
that
give my money in a Build-A-Bear.
he let that sit there. And when he did this heist, this double click heist, it was worth about $13 million that he was able to pull out of the Silk Road.
Yeah.
When he was arrested, the value of the Bitcoin on that motherboard had rose to $3.8 billion.
Holy cow.
Yeah, because it went up. Because it was at
went up
like
a lot.
$80,000 a Bitcoin.
Yeah, it went up a lot. And the FBI was like, we got to figure out how to make that ours. Here's the thing. This guy, honestly, like the majority of the money that he was spending in his everyday life, he had earned legitimately. Majority of the stuff he did, except for the drug stuff, was legal. It was kind of sad, but legal.
Yeah.
This thing was, in a weird way, it's hard to say whether or not this action was legal or not. Like, he was using a dark website that was where a lot of illegal money went through, but he didn't purchase anything illegal with this thing. He stole money from someone
He
who
put
was,
money in and just pulled more money out than he put in.
yeah, who was breaking a lot of laws.
Yeah.
And so the courts were having a hard time figuring out what they could charge him with because it was none of it was real.
Yeah.
So there was no real laws against all
And
this.
then the guy that he ended up stealing from gave him more money. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he was not like he was going to press charges or anything.
Yeah, that guy's in prison. He's not getting any of that money back. So it's not like they're going to charge him against him. So what they ended up figuring out was part of the Ross
Well, they ended up.
part of
figuring
the Ross Ulbricht case. Whenever he got arrested, part of the terms of that was Ross had to turn over all the funds that he earned through Silk Road, which was about $9 billion. But
Holy cow, dude.
he could only account for $1 billion that he turned over. And so there was still $8 billion out there that the FBI was trying to track down that they said is technically theirs to seize whenever they could track it down.
Okay.
The issue is they were pretty confident that the majority of that Bitcoin was likely already in circulation, which is an interesting point. If you have purchased Bitcoin, there's a pretty good chance that, technically speaking, under this case, belongs to the FBI, even if you obtained it legitimately because
Right.
it passed through the Silk Road. It's technically a part of this, and
That's
the FBI.
what they say about a lot of, like, you know, because dealing in art had to do with a lot of people, you know, you could value it at whatever you wanted. And so it was clandestine. And people do the same thing with cryptocurrency because it's not real.
yeah.
And so I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, so that at any point, if the FBI could figure out that your Bitcoin was connected to the Silk Road, they could just say, hey, that's ours.
Crazy.
Which is nuts. And that's what they did with this case. So they seized $3 billion from him.
Good thing we've got that blockchain.
And what they sentenced him to a year and a day in prison, seized that $3 billion.
A year and a day?
Yeah, it's a weird sentence.
366. That's a great number.
Real strong sentence.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't miss his 1 year party, guys.
Oh.
You get a party in jail.
Happy jail birthday.
Happy jail day to you. And then they beat the crap out of you, dude. One hit for every year you've been in there. So thankfully,
you just.
but it's from every prisoner.
Right,
So it's
every
like
prisoner,
at least,
yeah.
you know, people usually die like 7 years in.
Yeah, because that's a lot of hits.
But then where are all the
Every
people?
prisoner gets 7
yeah,
hits.
no, because then if all the prisoners are dead, then there's less prisoners beating you each year.
That's a
Shoot,
good
there
point.
is somebody who eventually lives.
You survive long enough.
That is true.
But then the next year you have to punch yourself because like it's your duty. It's your duty as a prisoner.
Okay, so
and like the
if you
guards
had to
know
go
if
to
you're
jail.
taking it easy, you know?
Yeah, they're like,
the
that
guards
was-
watch you. They're
that
like,
was-
no. You have to hit yourself harder
Real
than that.
punch.
if
Why
you
are you hitting yourself?
if you had to go to jail, you know,
Yeah.
and they take care of all your food and all of you know, because you guys have talked about this before.
Yes.
Would it still be worth it if you had to endure just one?
Self-inflicted torture?
No. Whether by yourself or somebody else, but like one good punch
One
each
good
year.
punch.
One
good
a
punch
year?
Yeah.
Is
On
it
your-
guaranteed that there will be no other punches that year? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
what
like-
about stabs?
There's one guaranteed, and then like every other one is like
prison
normal
fight.
you could get punched other
Right.
days. Okay,
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't know. You look
This
like a
deal-
cop, so that would be real bad for you. Everybody thinks you're.
I look
This
like a what?
deal.
If you look like a cop, but everybody
Oh,
in
that's
prison
true.
is
You
would
not
have
gonna.
a hard time.
Yeah, they're gonna think you're
You're
either
an
think you're a
undercover
plant,
cop, aren't
yeah.
you?
either you're undercover or
No.
you turn dirty, and that's worse.
No.
Yep.
No, I'll
break
never tell.
laws.
I think that's so strange. A year and a day of prison.
Yeah, so he does prison for a year and a day, and it's interesting. The investigator, I watched a CNN interview, and he said, you know, it's interesting. What Jimmy did was he kind of accidentally stole from Ross Ulbricht, but if he hadn't done that, and we seized that Bitcoin when we arrested Ross Ulbricht, we would have seized $13 million. But because of what Jimmy did, we seized $3.8 billion. So he kind of helped us out a lot.
Yeah. Where does that money?
That's so annoying. But it's like super helpful that he did that.
But it's like,
so,
we're so thankful for his
You know?
crimes. So now he
so anyway,
actually,
I got to get on my boat.
he's served his
Yeah. Year and a
he
day
served
later.
his sentence. He got out, and now he's a Lyft driver in Georgia.
No
Really?
way.
Yeah, because I mean, he can't do Bitcoin anymore. All that's
No.
gone. His real estate investments dried up because obviously.
What
he
about
didn't have
what about
money for it.
Memphis?
Yeah, so that guy got screwed in the
Oh.
deal because he had already started making the moves
And he
because
didn't
the
have the
money was
money
going to
yet?
come. But yeah,
Oh.
and then so
Yeah,
he
you
kind of
gotta
got
get
caught
the
with
money
the bag.
first.
Dang.
So that was a pretty big bummer. So this is an interesting story because it's hard for me to say that this guy was a criminal. I think that's what I said. I said he didn't realize he did anything wrong because he stole from an illegal place.
What about the cocaine though?
The
What about
cocaine he
being
knew,
at the
but he already got
illegal
a
place?
felony.
Yeah.
He got a felony for the cocaine. And being on the Silk Road probably was bad, but at this point, it's been 7 years
the actual
since that all happened.
stealing of the money, I really can't fault him for because he just double clicked and then the guy gave him $5,000 for it. So
the guy thanked him for it. So it's
Yeah.
he can't get in trouble. He's like, I don't think he thought he could get in trouble for that anymore.
Yeah.
I think he was just like, I'm going to let that grow as big as I can let that grow. And at some point, I'm going to pull that out. But I'm just going to let that grow.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Everything
what
else
is the
he did was
statute of
legitimate.
limitations on theft?
yeah.
You
Yeah, I
know?
don't know. That's a good
Because
question.
if you steal, let's say $100,000,
Yeah.
and you just dump it into the stock market, right?
Yeah.
And then the statute of limitations run out on your theft. So that's 80 years later.
And I think it depends at the value.
Can you still pull that out?
Because I think that's the thing is the FBI really went through a lot of hoops to figure out how they could seize that money because
Yeah.
they were like, that's a lot of money. We need that.
Sure.
I think if it's enough money, they're going to be we
They're
got to
saying,
figure out a way to make that
yeah,
ours.
yeah,
We got to figure out how to. I got to figure out how to
we
make
can
money
just
off
kill
this.
We thought about just killing
Thought
him?
about just if
He
he's
lives
dead-
at Lake Lanier.
he lives at Lake Lanier. That's where we kill most of the people.
Yeah, they could have killed him. They could have. He
They
lives
could
at
have
Lake
just fiddled him off.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Things I Learned Last Night. If you like our show, please subscribe so you don't miss any more in the future. And then we've also got clips and other episodes and a bunch of other stuff that we've created. We've been doing this show for a long time, but we're glad that you're here now. So please go enjoy our other stuff. Or if you hated us, please just block us. I know never come back. Never be here again. I never want to hear from you.